Sooner Nation, Thunder Nation, we are back. This is the Just OK Sports podcast. That's just Oklahoma sports and Western Conference Finals Thunder podcast today. That's all we're talking. We're not, I know Sooner Nation people, you're here, but we're going full Thunder talk. Troy's finally free. We worked in our lunch schedule to get a pod in because Troy couldn't talk about the series while it was happening. We had to wait till it was over. Now we can
Ah,
now we can chat. So we're no small talking because Troy's got 30 minutes and he's got to go be corporate again. So
yeah, I know, but no. How are you, sir?
good. I'm alive. I'm alive. That's what matters.
What does that mean? You're alive.
I spent Saturday and Sunday 30 feet underwater.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You training some more?
Yeah. We had another training. So,
Yep. Are
and
you sore?
no, not sore. Not
That's
sore.
right. You were sore last time,
A little
or
bit.
just, or maybe just tired. Maybe
I
just tired.
wore me slick. The first weekend, not this weekend, the weekend before, we were in the pool for right at 3.5 hours. And so
Yep.
just swimming the whole time. And that, I mean, we got out. I've never had my son Tal ask for food so fast in all of his life. He was like, please get dried off and just buy me food. I don't even care. Like, take me to a gas station. I just need food. And I was the same way. We burnt some calories, but we're
That's funny.
certified. We're good. We're ready to rock and roll.
When's the trip?
We leave May 28th. We will go watch Messi play the night of the 28th. And then the next day we will go scuba diving if I can get
I am.
everything finalized.
Since you told me that you're going on this trip, I have been praying that Messi doesn't sit out that game
Oh, I know.
so much.
I know.
Like that's all I've been praying. I'm
I
like, let them
know.
have a good time, keep them
Please,
safe, but
please.
let Messi
I
play.
know. I
Like,
know. Yeah, I'm gonna lose my mind if he does. But I was telling Tal, I was like, if he does, we're gonna be and like, and I don't want to be like get canceled here, but I think the reality is we all know the Miami area has a lot more people from Central America, South America that live there. It's a very Latin right culture. So to go to a soccer
that's fine.
match in that is going to be awesome because
Yeah,
they are not going to screw around. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
they're not there for the corporate like, hey, so what kind of deals are we going to be made? Oh, nice play. Like there that is not how this is going down. So
no,
that'll be fun
Mm.
regardless. So anyways, but
no, that'll be good. I want to thank you for something so far.
uh-oh.
You learned early on in these playoffs. I don't want to talk to anybody if we've had a bad game or we lose, especially if we lose.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to talk. And I can appreciate you like the first couple times you didn't get it, and then the second time I think you were like, "Yeah, I'm just going to stay
No, I
away."
got it. I literally was just reaching out to you just to say, hey, and you just
We
won't
did
even.
we did talk one time. I was like, "We can talk, but we are not talking about the game."
Yeah, and we did
Period.
it. And you were still mad that I even
Oh,
called you.
dude,
It was my
dude,
fault, obviously, that we
I
lost the
don't
game.
100%, 100%. But dude, okay, let's break it down. Let's break it down for a minute. Um, what would you what would you say was the reason we won this series?
Uh, depth, depth, and rest. I mean, overall, I think those are the two.
Rest, I don't necessarily think rest was it. I think we were younger. We had fresher legs because we were younger. Not necessarily rest because it didn't play out that way in game one. It would have been played out that game in game one since we had a week off.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's where that whole Russ versus rest comes in game one, right? And if you really go back to game one, like they played fairly well, and it was crunch time that really game one was the buzzer beater.
Yeah, well, game
I
one
mean,
and three because if
yeah,
AG doesn't hit the three at the end of game three, we win that one too.
well, but I'm saying game number one's the one where you're in full control of that game with
Yeah,
what
yeah.
two like so. I do think the rest helped. It was just when it got down to we're up seven. It was this 21-year-old team going, we won, it's
Yeah.
over, and then they were like, oh crap, now we're
No,
in it.
I don't think it was that. I think they just got sphincter tight. I really do. and
I think
and they
both. I think both are true. I think when they
I
first
no
got a
I
I
completely
think once
disagree
they
with the
closed
whole.
it, I think once they closed it to a 3 point game, and you've got to start because that's when they started missing the free throws. Was when it
They
got
had
down
missed
to
no, they had missed free throws the entire game.
yes, but they had cleaned it somewhat, and then they back to back free throws we hadn't done since like the first quarter. I mean, that's all Chet's got to
Well,
do is hit a free.
all that being said, I agree with you. I think it was
Mhm.
um, the depth that ended up making the difference in the series. I will say this series was way closer
Than
to
it should
being
have
a
been.
sweep than
Yes.
it was a Denver series win.
I because I'm a sicko, I've listened to too many Denver podcasts in the last like week,
Dude,
like after all the games. And so
I've
I
got something for Denver fans in
oh
a bit.
I do, but the fans are different than the how that all like whatever. But I mean this really could have gone either way. I mean, if I'm a Denver fan or a media member, I feel like we should have won this series in 5. And if I'm a Thunder fan looking at it from our perspective, we should have won in 4. Like that's how I feel, and yet it went seven games. Um, it was crazy. Now, this game should have or this series should have never gone 7 games. So what I'm trying to say, should have never gone 7 games. But there was positives in that I do think going through the series the way that we did, I do think helped this team. I think it's going to help them mature. I
Hmm.
don't think they're going to take things for granted as much. Because again, I do think there were multiple times, even throughout the series, even down 2-1, where they went on these little runs of 15, 20 points and they'd be up big. And then all of a sudden they just got lax. And you could just tell they kind of took their foot off the gas. And then all of a sudden they're back in a dogfight. And now hope is sprung. And instead of putting their foot down, they allowed a player like Jokic and Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon who have been down this road to go, we're here. Like we're good. Um, and I hope in that they learned from those experiences going 7 games.
Here's where I'll say they learned they grew up before our eyes in this series. Same situation last year. They lose game five at home
Mm-hmm.
last year. They lose and then they lose on that terrible play
Yeah.
at the end where Shea touches the ball, then rakes the hand. It was
Yeah.
awful. Anyway, whatever. Um, in game six in Dallas this year felt like it was going to be the same thing. We were about to lose game five at home,
Yeah.
and then they flipped a switch
Mm-hmm.
and they took game five, lost game six. Thought that was the singular game where Denver outplayed us for most, if not all, of the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the only game of the series I felt like they outplayed us for basically 47 minutes.
Yeah.
Um, and then game seven happened, and we know what happened there is amazing. But they learned, and from that down 2-1, they won three of four. We were like,
Yep.
don't know if they can, but they did,
Right.
and they learned. J-Dub learned from game six to seven. Love
Mm-hmm.
his response in game seven.
Do
Oh
too.
my gosh!
Yep.
And on top of that, I was afraid of coming out of halftime. They're up like 13 or 14 at
Yeah.
half.
Yep.
Maybe they
14.
make
Yep.
that incredible run, like inject it into my veins the last couple of minutes of the half.
Yep.
And I was like, y'all keep that same
Yeah. Yeah.
energy.
Exactly.
Started, and yet, you know what they did? Immediately just stepped on the throat.
Yeah.
And they were playing downhill on defense and offense. What I mean by that on defense and offense, on defense, they were swarming, right?
Yeah.
Denver could barely get into the paint or get a you want a contested three, right? A
Mm-hmm.
highly contested three, and don't let them into the paint. They
Yeah.
were swarming so much they could barely do that. And
Yeah.
the only reason they did is because Jokic is the best player in the world. Like he's incredible.
Yeah.
But they were swarming, so they were playing downhill from the defensive perspective, and then that caused all the turnovers, and that caused them to just be playing as fast as they could. And when you have Jokic, you can live most of the time with transition defense if one of the dudes can't get back as fast as others, like Jokic. But
Right.
when you have AG who needs to get back and
Yeah.
uses athleticism to help defend the rim,
Yeah.
transition opportunities, and he couldn't, then you're dealt with MPJ that can't do it
Right.
because he's injured, and Murray and Brown.
Yeah.
That's a recipe for success on the other way.
Oh yeah.
So I thought they learned a lot. They put the throat down. They put the foot on the throat, start of the second half, and did not let up. I
Yeah.
mean, when you pull your dudes at 9 minutes
Yeah.
in a fourth quarter in a game seven, you
Yeah.
did something right.
Yeah. No, even Evan was shocked. My wife, she's been all in for like the last month of regular season and playoffs now. She's like, I can't believe they're doing this already. I'm like, but babe, they're down like 40. And she's like, it
There's
doesn't
nothing.
matter. She's like, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Like they have Jokic and it's game seven. Like you play this out. And I was like, well, no.
Not wrong.
I mean, but I think Adelman knew his guys were gassed. He
No.
knew AG wasn't healthy. MPJ wasn't. I mean, again, that's where the nitpicky side of me, like not thinking about this team being literally like 21, like they're 22, whatever's their average, but they're very young.
Mhm.
Not like taking all that out. You should not have let this go 7 games. You should not have. They MPJ hobbled. Braun's not been there. I mean, they were playing basically 6 to 7
So,
guys.
so what's the antithesis to what you're saying? Do you have the antithesis in your head? The
Yeah, the
opposite in your head?
antithesis is again their youth. I mean, again, like you said, in almost every game, the Thunder built double-digit leads throughout 12, 13, 14 points. And then literally you could see it on their faces. They went to regular season mode. I mean, where they're just kind of chunking the ball over with the defender right there going, "Oh, they won't go after that." And then next thing you know, it's a turnover and it's like, "Guys, like what are we doing?" Like or
Hmm.
taking super fast shots in the shot clock that are
No,
contested.
what I'm saying, you're saying like it shouldn't go seven. So what I'm saying is, do you also have the other side of you? You have the bad devil on your
Yeah,
shoulder,
it
right?
should not have gotten
And
that.
but do you also have the good devil or the angel on your shoulder,
Yeah,
right?
the angel on
Where
my shoulder is saying like despite all that they getting down 2-1, going to game 7, they overcame and they closed out great in game 7.
against the
Like
heart of a champion, like
correct.
the best player in the world,
Yep.
any nobody like if you go look at I think what was the stat that I saw for Jokic? I want to give up the defense for a minute. The stat that I saw for Jokic in the Clippers series, he had like 74
Yes, I
assists
did see that one.
to
Hold
what
on.
was it? 74 assists. You pull it up as I'm trying to like
I'm
remember
looking
it,
for it right now.
but like it was 74 assists to like only like in the like 21 turnovers total, maybe
Right.
in the 7 games. But versus us, it was like 54 to 41.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Jokic versus the Clippers. This is from Andrew Schlecht, by the way.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
71 assists to 24 turnovers.
That
The
was close.
Thunder series, it was 41 assists to 31 turnovers.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
And who knew? Who knew that the final blow, the final punch we landed was a 6'5" white dude fronting Jokic, and they couldn't get the ball to him.
yeah. And by the way, Denver fans, him fronting and leaning his butt into Jokic when Jokic is leaning on him is not a foul. It's not a foul.
No, it's not a
And
foul.
here's the other thing I will say. Like I know that OKC fans are just like done with Denver fans and the refs are cooking it for OKC and like all this bull. Okay, look, there were some nights where the Thunder got away with a lot. That's true. But on those nights, Denver got away with a lot. There were multiple games where they out free throwed us like crazy, like on and on and on.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. I don't blame Denver fans to some degree. This is an NBA problem because through the regular season, if Jokic is breathed on, it's a foul.
Yep.
And then now you get into the playoffs in the second round where they're letting more and more go. And now all of a sudden you're letting people lean a body on Jokic no matter what. And if they don't just hack him, it's not going to be a foul. And they don't know what to do with it because they
Yep.
watched 82 games where that wasn't allowed.
But the
And now it's
playoffs,
being
we've said from the
yes.
beginning, the playoffs are almost a different sport.
Yes.
Like it is completely different. And for people to say like, "Oh, OKC's not going to be able to do it because they're foul merchants," especially Shea's a foul merchant in the playoffs. That's not how we won games. We won
No.
games because of the defense. And if we're able to play more defensively, more
Yep.
physically,
Yep.
it's over. It's like the I mean, I'll admit it. It's almost like the Seahawks Legion of Boom,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Where
Dude, I
they're
had this thought on the way home. This is so
it
great.
was
I
it was
love it.
like the Legion of Boom Seahawks where they were playing DPI every play. Refs can't pull that flag every play. And we are swiping at the ball every single play. We are going to get wrists, we're going to get arms, but we're going to get a ball a lot. They can't call it every
Right.
single second
Well,
that we're doing that.
and you pointed this out midway through the season. The team is so good with their hands that they
Oh my
do get a
gosh.
ton of clean swipes,
Yeah, yeah.
which now leads when it is a slight hit on the wrist or a slight hit on the hand. The refs are going to lean the other way because they're so clean all the time.
And it's not just us. They're doing it too. Like other teams are doing it as well. It's like
Yeah,
that has been the what the refs have started since day one of the playoffs.
yeah. And that's just so like again, I'm not overly mad with Denver fans. I don't understand why Denver fans truly believe that somehow that the league really wants OKC to just make it through when literally even today I think the piece they did on OKC winning game 7 on Get Up was maybe 3 minutes and they didn't talk about it the rest of the time. It was about Jokic, it was about what trades were going to be made, and it was about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese getting in a fight.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they didn't even talk like so. OKC's not some darling for the league. The Knicks, if you want to talk about who the league would force through, it's going to be the Knicks
This
because
is this is essentially worst case scenario for the NBA. Not very worst, but it's close because you have New York in there. But outside of that, you have Indiana, Minnesota,
yep.
Oklahoma. This is not if the NBA could cook up a perfect Final Four, this is not it.
No, but I will say this with the 4 teams that are left, all these games are going to be a grind. The Knicks love to play defense, they love to mess it up, but the Pacers are good enough at hitting shots. It's going to be a
Hmm.
war. I
Hmm.
feel like they're not carbon copies of each other, but I do feel like the depth and the versatility of the Timberwolves and Thunder matches up really, really well. And it's going to be a dogfight of a series up and down. I think it's another really long series for them, you know. And
If we can not to jump into this like immediately, but like if we can cause Julius Randle to become the normal Julius Randle, the series is over in 4 or 5. The only reason they have had this run is because the other guys are doing what they do. Jaden McDaniels is really good. Ant's
mm,
good. Although nobody wants to talk about it. Ant's been super inconsistent.
yeah, no, I agree.
Julius Randle has been the one that's been the most consistent.
Here's the
And
guy. Here's the guy. I'm telling you right now, there are two X factors in this series. For the Thunder, it's J Dub, who
yep,
has to have more than 2 good games. As good as he was in game
agreed.
7, same thing for him. I'm like, I tweeted this and I'm going to stand by it. Somebody was like, oh, I think his wrist is. This is not a wrist problem. This is the same guy we saw last year against the Mavericks. He had that one good game, like in game 2, game 3 against the Mavs last year, and we went, oh, here it comes. The J Dub we've been waiting for is coming. And then he disappeared. And he didn't have his game 6 or game 7. He did this year. So now you hope that carries on. Now, I will also say what's fascinating about if you look at his shooting stats for the game, I'm pretty sure that 4 out of his 5 misses in the game were layups.
In game 7,
Yes. Yes.
maybe.
Yes. And that is terrifying because the rest were dunks where he really got all the way open and he did hit some mid range. He hit a three or two, but like he still missed a ton of layups. Like you can't give those away. Those are the ones you got to hit. You got to hit those. But the guy for Minnesota, it's Nas Reed. Nas Reed is the guy that is pushing them. Oh, did you
Uh,
see his shooting
no,
splits in
here
the
here's
playoffs?
why I'm here. Yes, no, he's been amazing. Here's why I think Nas Reed is going to get his, and I think it comes down to Julius Randle. Nas Reed has been consistent. Julius Randle has never been consistent. So the reason they won by what 5 games in each series um, is because Julius Randle has been really good. If we can turn Julius Randle off and make him super inconsistent, him go 3 of 16, 5 of 22, which
Mm,
he is
he can
100% prone
do.
to do. Ant's going to get his. Nas, I truly believe Nas Reed's going to get his. I think he's really, really good.
See
And
that?
I,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
but, and so that's why I'm looking at the guys that can be inconsistent. And if Dort can somehow start like minute diminish the impact that Ant can have, well, I would say Dort, Caruso, and
And Wallace.
Kaysen. Um, but if they can kind of help diminish that a little bit, make him just a jump shooter. Don't let him get into the lane. Make him
Hmm.
a 3-point shooter and just have him shoot 30 footers all game. Build a wall on him. I think that's fine. Nasri's going to get his because he's so good. Julius Randle is the dude that I'm worried about. If he goes off on 24 efficiently every game, it's a dogfight of a series. If he doesn't, we win the series in five.
Yeah, I mean, you might be right. To me, though, like you just said, of those, it's kind of like playing Denver. Jokic is gonna get his. That's gonna happen.
That's
Like,
why I think Nas Reed's going to get his.
okay, but I think, like you said, Ant, I don't feel that way about. I feel like Ant's going to have 2 to 3 really good games. And then the other ones are going to be very inconsistent, turnover prone. He's going to shoot them out of games. So let him be dumb and let him like have the 2 or 3. I do think just from a matchup standpoint, Randall's probably going to get his. But the spark for them is when they take those guys off the floor and Nas Reed subs in, and now he starts going nuts. That's their spark plug. So you take him out. If you can get him out of the game and get him not shooting 46% from three, I think that's where it turns on its head. And that's where Julius Randle, it'll start pushing him when Ant's being on an inconsistent night and Nas Reed struggles. That's what impacts Randle because now he thinks he has to be that guy. And he starts to have that game where he goes 3 of 18 because he's trying to pull them in, with one shot basically, as opposed to grinding out and getting caught back up. I think those are the two guys you shut the water off on. You let Julius Randle do what he wants to do, and you really focus on those and never let them get in a rhythm and never let them get comfortable. But
Here's where I think it's a bad matchup for the T-Wolves, and frankly, I think we're a bad matchup for everybody, um, because of our defensive depth. But like, let's run through it, okay?
okay,
Um, all right. So the starters, Nas Reed still comes off the bench because I believe DiVincenzo is is starting for
yes,
them.
correct.
Yeah. Um, no, it's is DiVincenzo or Mike Conley starting?
Oh, sorry, Conley. It is
Yeah.
Conley, and then they
Yeah.
bring dimensions.
So let's talk about the matchups. Who guards? Let's start with Ant. Who guards Ant? And I think it's Dort.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Okay. We're just talking about starters.
Right.
Um, Conley.
Shea.
Shea's gonna throw go on Conley.
Mm-hmm.
The real question to me is does does I heart guard Randall because his physicality, or does he guard Gobert? I
I
think it's
think he
going to be
go.
very interesting.
I wouldn't be surprised they put J Dub on Randall.
I agree unless Randall can just back him down and wear him out, then
Dude,
I
we
think.
saw J Dub for that 3 week stretch
But
guard
here's the problem.
centers.
Are you gonna put Chet on Jade McDaniels at that point?
Maybe. I mean, he was guarding
Because
freaking Braun this last game.
it's true, but like what if like my thing is what if you put Chet on Gobert, put Ihart on Randall? But you're right, Randall likes to put the ball on the
This
deck.
could also be a game where
Um,
they don't go double bigs. As crazy as that sounds.
well, I think they need to go double bigs to start with, especially because you're going to have two of the three out on at all times, basically with the T-Wolves between Julius Randle, Gobert, and Naz Reid.
Yeah, maybe so.
Two of the three is going to be out there at all times. Jaden
See,
McDaniels, I think they end up throwing Jaden McDaniels on Shea.
right.
And that allows, and then they'll put Ant, well, gosh, are
They'll
they going to
put
put Ant on J-Dub and then hide Mike Conley on Dort?
Yes, Conley for sure is on Dort, no question. Like
Then
that's
Ant
that
goes
one's
on.
done. I think the Ant and McDaniel's they'll probably do some kind of swap back and forth to keep Ant full steam ahead on offense
And then you got they'll put Randall
on J Dub.
on no, I think they'll put Randall on Chet
Oh, they could, yeah,
and then put Gobert on iHeart to keep him
right,
off the boards.
yeah,
Um I I don't know. I think it's a bad matchup for them because of our depth defensively.
yeah. Well, I mean, you've always got depth defensively. For me, right now, I mean, look, it played out in the other one. There were two key factors to every game they won. Their 3-point shooting because it unclogs the lane. They don't have to hit it at a crazy clip, but they've got to hit some, right? And then
Oh,
two,
they even shot a terrible in this last game.
they ended up in the 30s. Well, before the Kenrich Williams jack up threes for the last 3 minutes of the game hit in. They were actually, I think they were at 34%, 35%, something like that. Before they put all the backup guys that just started launching in. They came along. They started the game 0 for 7, I think.
Yeah.
But that's what unclogs the lane, right? But then the second one, and I kept tweeting about rebounding, the rebounding game, even game 6, when they had that lead, they were out rebounding the Nuggets by a good.
We were still out rebounded in this game.
We were at the end. There was a full, but again, the numbers were very even until we put backups in, and then it changed a lot. But in game 6, we were up like 10 overall rebounds. We were up, I believe, 4 in offensive rebounds at halftime. And then the
Mhm.
second half, when they took off, they out offensive rebounded us by 4, and they out rebounded us by like 12. I mean, they flipped the script in the second half on rebounds.
Let's look at turnovers. What have they been doing on turnovers?
I have no idea.
Oh, I am looking at it. Julius Randle is averaging over 3 turnovers a game in the playoffs.
I love that.
That's not great for them. Let's compare that to. All right, I'm going to compare the turnovers because we're doing this real time. We're
Real
analyzing
time.
real time.
That's right. We're real podcasting right now.
We don't do research. Who does research? Come on. I clicked on. All right, here we go. Let's go to stats. Here we go. They're averaging 13 turnovers a game. We're averaging nearly 11. Who is averaging the most on our team?
Turnovers? Oh
Mhm.
man. J-Dub?
No. J-Dub's
Shay?
only averaging, Shea's averaging two a game,
Jeez.
but he's our highest.
Wow.
So this is what's wild is Edwards is averaging 2.3, Randall's averaging 2.3 or 3.1. That makes sense because of their usage rate. DiVincenzo's averaging 2 as well. So the problem is for them, if they aren't strong with their hands and the ball, we're going to crush them in turnovers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They can fly with us, but we could crush them in turnovers here.
Right.
I think that's a big factor. Let's look at rebounds a game. We're getting 46 a game. They're only getting 42 a game because everybody likes to stay on the perimeter.
Mm-hmm.
Naz Reid, Julius Randle, Gobert's the only dude that stays in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah. Which could help us a lot. Could help us a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Um,
especially for the Thunder, it was the offensive rebounds that killed them in so many of these games against Denver. I mean,
yeah.
there were what, 2 games where I think they had like 13 more shots than we did in the
Yeah,
game, despite all the
here's
turnovers.
oh wow. I'm just comparing stats here. This is fun. Um, Minnesota is averaging less offensive rebounds than we are.
Mm-hmm.
Um, on in the season. I want to look at the Nuggets compared to the T-Wolves here, just on averages, for offensive rebounds. So the T-Wolves, or not, the Nuggets are averaging 12.3 offensive rebounds.
Hmm.
and they're averaging one less. Gobert's getting three a game,
Yeah.
where Gordon was getting three and a half a game.
Jeez.
Gordon, I got to give that dude some credit. He might have damaged his hammy way more with
Yeah.
playing, but he got it out and he had like 11 or 12
Dude,
rebounds.
I tweeted it, man. Nothing but love and respect for the Nuggets. They grinded, dude. They played like champions. Is what they played like. They played like
Although
savvy veteran champions.
I am Murray annoyed that, like, okay, there's some things about the Nuggets. I love their grit and everything, but my gosh, man, the amount of complaining that they did to the refs when they were getting the majority of the calls is wild.
Sure. Oh, sure.
Like,
They're
and
not,
then
but
Murray mocking Shea
I mean,
for a drive. Shea, yes, Shea embellished it, but how much does Jokic just flop? And
oh
then
yeah.
we got Nuggets fans online saying on the Gordon elbow where
Yeah.
it literally popped Shea in the face, right?
Yep.
And
Oh
Shea
yeah.
had his hand on the ball, no, didn't touch him outside of that, right?
Yeah.
Had his hand on the ball. Shea fouled him twice. That wasn't a foul on Gordon. I'm like, what delusional world do y'all live in?
Yeah. That whole sequence, the original touch on the ball was clean. Now, once he got the ball away from Shea's hand and Shea kind of leaves his hand there, you could call that a foul where his hand kind of raked through right on that. But you still have a hip bump from Jokic that was an illegal.
Jokic pops him, yeah.
Pops him with hands and hit. I mean, that's the thing, man. Like that's where the foul stuff. I'm just like, just stop, just stop, because you're making yourselves look fools. Like there are fouls all over. Now there are some that are just egregious, right? I mean, I was losing my mind in the first quarter. There were three different times I put a stopwatch on Jokic, and he was in the lane offensively for 7 seconds. Seven. Not three, not five, seven. Like, you cannot let a guy like that do that. But you know what? They did. Okay, fine. Like, you got to move on. I don't think that that's the refs trying to look for something. But yes, the amount of complaint. But here's the deal. And again, we talk about this all the time. The league has gone away from defense, right? It's gone towards offense.
Yeah.
The Thunder have built a roster with elite defenders all the way down. And look, even Denver podcasts, when they gripe about it, they say the amount of elite defenders they have is blank, right? And they acknowledge
Hmm.
that. That's what's driving everyone crazy. There is no break. There is always a body on you. There's always a hand on you. There's always somebody checking you. And that does not happen in the NBA anymore. It doesn't. No one does it. And what makes it even worse is Shea plays as hard almost on defense as he does on offense. And that's something you don't see anymore. You see all these guys going on the defensive end going, well, I got to get my air because I gotta give all this effort on the but that team aspect of what they've put together, it drives you nuts. And even I loved what the broadcast said at one point when they went on that run where they got turned over. They go, it's almost like you're playing 6-on-5.
Yeah, they said that.
Like, and
Yeah,
I was like, yeah,
it
their
is.
rotations, the way that they just sprint to open spots drives you crazy. And I get it. Like I do. And I'm not going to sit here and say that OKC didn't get away with some fouls. Of course they did. But so did Denver. So did
Yeah.
Denver. And like
Yeah.
look that you want to talk about being handed the extension when you go 9 free throws to 0 in the first quarter,
Dude.
you got to I'm sorry, that's on you, Denver, that you didn't open up like a
Denver,
point lead.
100%. They had all the opportunity to. They opened up an 11-point lead. From that 21-10 run to the 9-minute mark, we outscored them like 100-60
Yeah.
or 50 or something like that. It was
I
wild.
Yeah. I mean that was your opportunity to just put that fire out. Y'all got an 11-point lead. We called a timeout and then we went on a run and closed it to like 5 or 6. But that was enough. Like I'm sitting in the huddle as Mark Daignault going, "Look guys, we haven't shot a single free throw. They hadn't called
Yep.
jack squat on them yet, and we're 5 points out of this thing and we're shooting the ball like crap. We've hit one three-pointer out of 7. Like guys, we're good. Like keep doing what you're
Yep.
doing."
Dude,
Whereas for Denver, you got to go in there and go, "Dude, They didn't call any fouls on
Right.
us. We shot 9 free throws to their none. We're shooting the ball okay. Brown has hit 2 of his first three pointers, and we're up 5. This ain't good. Like, as a
Yep.
player, okay, we're in trouble. And then it snowballed from there. Like, yeah, I'm over all that stuff. So,
So check this out. From that series, the potential, I love the stat of potential assists, right? Like when guys pass it to another dude for a wide open shot and they miss the shot or they miss the layup or something else
right,
like to that. I love that stat because that stat to me truly shows you how good of a playmaker somebody is. So
right.
for instance, there's one game where I think it was game 5 where Jokic was it game 5? Yeah, Jokic went nuts with like 40 points, right?
Right,
And I think he had like 20 potential assists and only got like 6 or 7, something like
right.
that, right? Um, but in this series, Jokic averaged 13.1 potential assists. Shea averaged 17 and a half potential
Oh,
assists.
that's crazy.
How that is crazy how much like they were overloading on Shea and we got wide open shots because we generated wide open shots the entire series. We
Mm-hmm.
just missed. And
Mm-hmm.
then and then the other thing, turnovers. Jokic averaged 4 turnovers a game while Shea averaged 2.
Yeah. That was a big one. Which, by the way, why do you think everyone is sucking at 3-point shooting in the playoffs this year? Like, outside the
There,
Pacers,
I think it's the pace of play because in the regular season you have a half a second longer to set up and shoot, right?
right?
Where in the playoffs it's catch shoot, like you don't have time to set up and to square your body or get your feet set. I think there is that everybody's rushing too much, where you saw Shea adjust to it. Give props to Shea the last few games where he figured it out and
Mm-hmm.
he went back to being ultra efficient the last 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, he
And
did.
he was I'm sorry, he was the best player on the floor the last 2 games.
He definitely was yesterday.
Even in game 6. In game 6, I felt like he was the best player on the floor
Hmm. I don't remember.
because he shot at a I want to say he shot at a really nice clip. Um
I so need to soundbite that.
game 6,
Oh,
game 6. Yeah, he shot 70% and 50% from 3 in the loss. 32.
yeah. Look,
Um,
I will say this: the 3 games there, I think there were 3 games, two in specific, where Jokic just went nuclear. Right, game
there were
one,
he only
and
had 2 games where he went nuclear.
that's what
He
I
had
said.
two
Two, he
games.
went nuclear.
Game
Three,
one
game
and
one and
and
game
and game
six,
five. Game
that
5.
5. That's right, 5. Um, he had another one that was pretty good, but throughout, like yet again, throughout, Shea was the better player.
Yeah.
Shea had
Yeah.
more good games through the series than Jokic
Yes.
did.
More
Like,
consistent.
now, Shea also had a lot more to work with, and I think that's fair to say. Like, and that's okay, and that doesn't diminish Shea as a player, but like you said, the average like potential assist for Jokic is through the roof, and yet no one was there. I mean, MPJ, what, one game in the whole series that was worth anything, right? So those are all pass outs. Russ couldn't hit the broadside of a barn in this series. I mean,
His first
Jamal,
2 games were great, and then after that, he just
yeah,
took a
I
nosedive.
mean, it was tough. Like you said, you walk away from the series still just giving a ton of credit to Denver. Tired, 7 game series into another 7 game, playing every other day except for game 7 for what, 3 straight weeks? That's a load, man. That's a load. And both teams struggled in that one where they had what, 30 hours basically of break and then had to turn around and play again.
That first quarter and first half was
Whoa.
brutal.
Blah.
But I will say this, like I heard Aaron Gordon complaining to the press more in this series than I've heard him complain. Oh, they're fouling all the time. They're fouling Jokic all the time. They need to call it both ways. They are, you idiot. We need to not play as much and have more days in between. I was like, everybody's going through it. Like, suck it up, man.
Yeah, I mean, for them, I understand the every other day thing because they were so thin, you know. Like
That's
I don't
that's not
I
like
I understand that. And
I like I
and
don't
at the
understand.
same time, you have to admit if they end these series, if they even gave you two games where you got 2 days rest, it would help both teams to be rested and not
It
play
would.
every
It
other
would. It
day
no,
all
it
the way
would.
through. And that's what
Um
he said. He said we would get a better product for the playoffs if they gave
I
us more rest between. And
I'm just
he's
annoyed at
right.
he's
I'm annoyed too. I didn't think
I'm
that other
annoyed
than
at
that
the
one
whining.
the one game where he threw a fit, I thought he was fine.
You
Um,
know, I thought Aaron Gordon was fine outside of like as the press. Like I saw it a few times in the press. He also had that thing with the now that was justified where he had that dust up with Ramona Shelburne about the article about him and Russ getting into a fight and him calling Russ
oh yeah, that
immature.
was
And
wild.
then
Yeah.
like so the Denver was against it with the firing of the GM and Mike Malone,
Right.
AG getting hurt, MPJ having being hurt, going to set like they were up against it, and kudos to them. I saw a tweet from a Nuggets fan today that said it showed me this series, and this was today, so after the game and after the series, this that Shea is the most overrated player in the game.
Yeah, I
I'm
saw
like
that
I'm
one.
like I'm like, in what world do you think that where the entire defense, when he
It,
was in the game, the entire defense was geared towards him? Yes, go ahead, please.
we talked about this 4 weeks ago. Why, Troy? Why is he saying that? Is it because Shea's play is not good? No.
Oh, you're
It's be,
talking about because of his style. You're talking about it, but like the
he
entire,
plays
and so
fundamental, and it drives people nuts. When you
it
see that
does, it
seven
drives.
footer guy
Yep.
turn around one leg 3 point shot, you're like, oh, that guy's incredible. He can't be, and he is, right? But Shea is just getting to the paint and going, oh, look, you took a step away from me. Midi, right? Oh, you're coming
NBA
to me. Bam,
NBA
I'm going to take the
dudes,
foul. Like, he
dude,
just plays fundamental basketball
so
and they
true.
cannot stand it. They cannot stand it because they want Ant to jump 6 feet above the rim and dunk on everyone's head. That's what they want. It's why they're pushing Wimby. It's, hey, another guy, Halliburton. Halliburton gets no love in this league. Why? Because he just shoots 3 point shots and he shoots wide open, good, clean three. He doesn't have anything dramatic to his game. Like, there's nothing fancy about Halliburton's game. And that's why you got players saying he's overrated. And you've got people going, I don't even understand how this guy is that good. He doesn't do anything fancy. But the minute that Ant dunks on two people, they want to make him the face of the NBA. Wimby being 7'4", he needs to be the face of the NBA.
I get it, but at the same time, like go talk to NBA experts.
I
Go watch
I know.
and even other teams. Other teams' defenses are all geared towards Shea. The reason
Yeah.
they played 65 to 70% of the entire game zone defense from Denver, one is because Jokic can't guard a fly.
Right.
Um, and if they played man to man, they switched Shea onto him all game long, and he'd get toast. So they went zone. But also that zone is effective against a dude like Shea, where he wants to take you one on one, get to your spot, and a zone can collapse a couple people on you at once. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and if we hit 35% of our three pointers, this would have been done in 3 games.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it would have
I,
been thing. I am
look,
curious to see if the T-Wolves implement the zone or they think they're good enough to just go straight up. Because if they think they're good enough to go straight up against us, I truly think our offense comes back and we
I
could
think
toast
they
them.
start straight up a lot like Denver did even early. They played straight up early. And then once there was a run, they went to zone. And some of that was trying to rest their guys, and some of that was protecting Jokic. But I think they'll do the same because, look, this team has shown throughout the year while they're not bad against the zone, their numbers actually show that they're okay against it. But when you talk about traditional defense versus zone defense, yes, it slows them down. It does take them out of their rhythm. It does take them out of their pace. They're going to do it. Like, they're definitely going to run some zone just to throw it at them and see what happens. But we'll see. I'm predicting this series to go seven. Um,
I'm gonna say 7. I said 7 in our group me this
yeah,
morning. I
I
vote.
think it goes
I'm
seven.
saying 7. But I am saying the Thunder. They're still deeper than the T-Wolves. I still
Yep.
think they have the best player in the series.
Right.
And here's what I'll even say. It depends on Randall. Like I keep coming back to Julius Randall. If the Thunder or if he averages 24 a game, then the Thunder will the T-Wolves will have the first and the third best player in the series.
Hmm.
Or the second and third best. Shea will be the best, then Ant, Julius Randle, and then all of our guys after that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But if Julius Randle averages 15 on 40% field goal shooting, then he's going to go down the list and they lose in 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I like his efficiency has blown me away through these playoffs. If he keeps it up, it is going to be a hell of a series. And I think he does keep it up. But the other key on our defensive side, and then we got to wrap up because I got to run.
Yeah. Me too.
But it is do they single when he posts up, when JR posts up, do they keep our guys on an island and let Julius Randle try to beat us? And then if he does start beating us, do we send help?
Mm-hmm.
Or do we immediately send help to get the ball out of his hands? I don't know the answer to that, and I am fascinated to find out what happens.
Me too. Who are you taking in the
Tomorrow
Knicks?
night.
Who are you taking in Knicks and Pacers?
The Pacers are on a run right now, dude.
Yeah.
And the only reason I'm going to say the Pacers in in 6, the only reason is because they're close out in Indiana in 6. And I just think that the Knicks play too many heavy minutes.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like the Nuggets.
Yep.
They make play too many heavy minutes and don't rely hardly at all on the bench. And so
Yep.
and it's a little better than last year's Knicks team,
Right.
but I will say Brunson can be the equalizer here. And we saw it against the Knicks. The only reason the Knicks won that series
Yeah.
is because they were down by 20 in the first 2 or 3 games against the Celtics, right?
Right.
And they ended up winning those games. That
Yeah.
was absolutely wild. And so their defense can get them back into games. They're not as good as ours,
Right.
but they're the I
Thibodeau is a genius on
yeah.
defense, though.
So
You got to give him that.
I'm gonna say the Pacers in 6. Pacers Thunder series will be so fun.
Oh, dude, the aura around that in those cities is going to
So
be
fun.
insane. Going to be insane. I'm going to say Pacers as well in 7, and I'm going to say for 2 reasons. I agree with you about the minutes. Thibodeau's been known for it forever. He ran their minutes up in the regular season. He's running them up worse, and it catches up to
Hmm.
him. But number 2, and I love Mark, but the best coach in the NBA currently right now is Rick Carlisle. Carlisle is for real. And
I don't disagree. He's got
I
a strong
wanted him
pedigree.
to coach the Thunder when we were looking for a coach. That's the guy I wanted. I think he is like so underrated and so under recognized for what he does. It's unbelievable, and he will have those guys ready to go. So it's going to be fun, dude. What a fun time to
Gonna be
be in the
blessed.
Western Conference Finals. Find your
Yep.
shots, boys, and let's get after it. So that's
Yep.
all we got for this time, man. Thank y'all for being with us. We're having a great time. We hope you are too. I'm Daryl. That's Troy, and we will talk to you guys later.
Bye, Baker.